Hi guys, it's me, Connie. I am really sorry that I have not been on to do any of my Halloween crafts videos these last few days. I had my sister was up for a few days, and then I ended up catching my niece's cold. So if you hear me sniffling or sneezing, I apologize. I do have a head cold. But I wanted to make a video on how I am making my little, uh, I guess it's like a little tin can treat container. I'm not even sure what you would call it. But this is going to be really hard to show you on here, so I hope nothing falls out. But as you can see, it is a little jack-o'-lantern or pumpkin face, and it is full of candy corns and candy pumpkins, and then I made a little bow on top. Um, it's a really simple and easy and really cute decoration and to sit around your house. My kids have their friends over quite a bit, and so I figured this will be a fun way to have a decoration that kind of is going with the theme of how I'm doing my Halloween decorations this year. And the kids can just kind of go and just pop one in their mouth or, you know, whatever they want to do with it. But I am going to show you how to make these. I am not going to make another jack-o'-lantern or a little pumpkin one. I am going to actually make a candy corn one this time. But you know, it's pretty self-explanatory. You paint the can orange and then you just paint black as the little face. So I'm going to set this aside so that it isn't in the way. And the things that you will need are going to be any kind of a can. This I think was a soup can actually, and you just make sure it's clean inside and wash it really good and take the label off. You will need paint if you're going to do this specific one. The colors you are going to need are obviously going to be white, orange, and yellow, and black. And the first thing I'm going to do is I am going to paint this whole entire can black. So I'm just going to take, let me grab a paper towel here. And I apologize, like I said, this is not a fancy video. This is just me crafting and showing, you know, and videoing it as I go. So bear with me. You'll probably hear kids in the background and dogs barking and me sneezing. So I apologize ahead of time. So I'm just going to take one of these little sponge applicator brushes. And as a matter of fact, will you hold on just 1 second, guys? I need to put my cord from my mic up so that it's not getting in the way of things. Oh, yeah, that didn't work well. See what I mean? This is going to be totally unedited, real life mess in Connie's craft room because that's just how I roll. Okay, maybe that'll work a little bit here. Let me make sure I have you guys turned. Oh, hello. That's not the way I wanted it, but that'll work. Okay. Now, back to doing the crafties. I'm going to paint the whole entire can black, and you can paint it this way, and you can use an actual brush if you want, but I like to kind of like stipple it on, because that gives it the kind of the old vintagey, cottagey style that I'm kind of going for. Now, with the orange paint that I did, it didn't really need a second coat. This black is kind of, I don't really want to say cheap, but it is the cheap acrylic paint that you get like at the craft stores and stuff that's like $1 or $1.50, somewhere on there. So it's not the best. Well, it might be okay. We'll see. But yeah, I'm pretty much just gonna do this through the whole entire can. I don't do the inside because there's going to be food in it. And I don't do the very bottom because it's going to be sitting and no one's going to see it. So, and the paint does scratch off of here really, really easy. So I would be careful with, you know, that, and just kind of be, you know, fair warned that it does scratch off. You could probably gesso this first and it would probably stay a little bit better, but I didn't want to take the time to gesso. So this is what we're going to do. I'm going to put a little bit more black down here. But yeah, I had all these videos planned that I wanted to do, and unfortunately my sister kind of showed up and stayed a little bit longer than she was going to. Actually, she left a little bit sooner than she was going to, but the timing was a little bit different time than I had expected. She wasn't supposed to be here for another week or so. She came from Nevada, but she ended up showing up a little bit earlier. So, and my niece had a cold, and she ended up getting me sick. So I don't know. I wasn't gonna do this video tonight, but I really want to get some of these decorations done because it's getting closer and closer to Halloween. I can't wait. It's my favorite time of the year. Okay. I don't think I'm gonna need to do another coat, but we'll see once it's completely dry. No. Alrighty. This might get really loud for a second, so you may want to take your headphones off for a second or turn the volume down, but I'm going to use my heating gun just to kind of speed up the process a little bit for video purposes. Normally I would let it sit and dry on its own, but getting there. Doesn't take really all that long to dry these. Yeah, I think I might just leave it the way it is and not do another coat, just because I kind of like that worn look with little bits of the can showing through and a little bit of like the paint dripping. I really, really like that, so I will leave it. So there it is. Now I'm gonna find out where I want to put. I'll put it right here. Now this is the part where I would take some kind, I usually use a chalk because it wipes off real easy, and kind of sketch out how you want to do your image. And again, for this purposes, it's going to be a candy corn. So I'm going to try to do this on here, but I may not, well, it may show. And I am no artiste, so I'm just going to kind of go with it and hope for the best. That's about all you could do. Let's see how big. That's probably big enough. So just kind of mapped out something like that. And then I'm going to kind of make my little crease here to know what the colors are going to be. Kind of divide it a little bit. Okay, and then now I am going to get my colors together. I'm just going to set that up that way for a second. There is a little bit of black in there from me touching it, so I will have to clean that out before I put food in there, but it's not bad. The stuff comes off the can actually really, really easy. Okay, so we are going to need orange, yellow, and black. So for the orange, I am just going to be using this. It's called Nutmeg. It's kind of not wanting to come out because it's almost empty. And I only need the tiniest bit for that. And it's really not even the orange I would really want, but it's the only orange I really have. So it's going to have to do. And then I have this color, and it's called Apricot, and it's a really yellow color. I'm kind of going off of this little guy. As you can see, the orange is definitely not the orange I want, but we were just gonna have to deal with it. And then of course we're gonna use white. So, and then I am going to grab, let's see, what kind of brush do I want to use? I don't want a really big brush, but I don't really want a small brush either. I want something that's going to have, it's about that size is good, I think. Okay, so I'm going to be going off of what this looks like. So it looks like the yellow color is on the bottom. So that is what I'm going to do. So while I'm doing this, I'm going to try to keep talking. I'm not much of a talker, really. Especially when I'm doing things, because it's like, I don't know if anybody else does that or not, but when they start really getting into something, it's like everything gets really, really quiet and you don't really speak or say anything. What's everybody's plans for Halloween this year? Are you taking your kids trick-or-treating? Are you going to a party? Are you staying home and giving out candy? I don't know what I'm going to do this year, to be honest. I may go with a friend and her young kid, and go trick-or-treating. All my kids are older now, so I don't get to really take them trick-or-treating anymore. So that's probably what I will do. Now I'm going to come back to this because it's going to need another coat. Definitely going to need another coat. So I'm going to go to the orange, and I'm going to mix a little bit of that yellow with it and try to get more of an orangey color rather than a dark orange I kind of want. Yeah, there, that'll work, I think. Yeah, that's perfect. I will try to blend it a little bit in with the yellow, just so that it doesn't have a harsh line. And these are definitely going to need a another coat, possibly two more, to be honest, because these aren't the best paints. They work, you know, you can make it work, it's just they're not the best. So I'm just trying to make sure that I cover up some of the chalk pieces. If you don't want to cover up some of the chalk, if you go a little over the design that you want, you can always just wipe it off after the paint's dried. You can just wipe the chalk right off and it'll come right off. So we'll do that. And then I'm going to let that dry, and then I'm going to rinse my brush off as best I can. And then I'm going to go into the white and do the white. As soon as I can get all the yellow off there. My goodness. Okay. And now with the white, I'm going to go and do all the way to the top before I come into blend, because once I go into blend, it's going to pick up some of that other color, and I do not want that up here on the top. So I'm just going to kind of get close to it, but not all the way blending yet until I'm completely done up here. I'm going to turn this so that I can do this side a bit better. It's nighttime again, so it's, again, the lighting's not the best. Evening times are the times that I can actually sit down and craft a lot better. So I really need to invest in a light that's a lot brighter than this one I have. Okay. Try to blend that in just a bit. Without trying to go over. So there is that. Now I'm going to go ahead and just wipe off the white. It's no big deal. It'll blend in with the yellow. And then I'm going to come back with the yellow and try to do another coat. And like I said, this may take a couple coats to do, just because it's not, they're not very opaque, and it being a black, you know, paint underneath, it's gonna take some coats, unless you like that like distressed look, which I may go ahead and leave that way, because again, I'm really going for that distressed, cottagey, vintagey Halloween theme for some reason this year. So I probably, oops, well, we'll just have to fix that real quick, won't we? And that's why I don't like talking when I do these things, because I don't pay attention to what I'm doing. But you know what? It's easy to fix. And if you go too far, all you have to do is just go and take some black and go over the spots that you need to touch up. And if you have a good black, it will pretty much cover anything. And I used way too much black paint, but I'll use it for something else before it dries up, I'm sure. Okay. Trying to blend it in with the yellow. But yeah, these are really fun to make. As you can see, there's really not a whole lot to it. I mean, it's basically just lots of painting. You don't have to be, you know, artiste or anything. You know, you just gotta have patience with paint and just have fun. And you can do this for any holiday too. I mean, it's not just for Halloween. You can do little Christmas trees for Christmas, snowflakes. I mean, it's like I always say, the possibilities are endless. You can do it for any holiday, 4th of July, Valentine's Day, New Year's, or you can just paint something that you really like and keep it all year round. I may actually make one that's a sugar skull, and I will probably keep it all year round. So, okay, so that is pretty much it. I may go back in with the yellow a little bit, but I don't know. I'm kind of liking it, but I do need to touch this part up real quick. So if you'll excuse me, I'm going to take it off camera just so I can see what I'm doing a little bit better. Not have it so crooked. It is a little bit crooked. Alright, well, I think that's about as good as it's gonna get. Okay. So I'm going to use my heat gun on that and let it dry a little bit so that I can speed this process up a little bit. Yeah, I'll definitely have to do one more coat of the yellow. That yellow is just not very opaque at all. The others seem to be doing okay, but that yellow is just really not wanting to do its job. So, and I kind of got it a little bit bubbled, so I'm just going to pat that down a bit. There we go. Ooh. That's much better, I think. This should be a good coat of it. Sorry, I'm kind of trying to rush this video so that it's not too long, but at the same time, I've had people ask me not to cut the video. They want to see it done live. Well, not live, but in, real time. And I'm not really one for that. Because again, like I said, I don't really talk much, and it can be a very long video. But if that's what they want, and that's what they'll get. Alright, so there it is. That is the painted part. Now, the next step would be if you have the, oh, I forgot what they're called. We Are Memories Keepers gator, I think is what it called. Puncher? I don't really remember, sorry. These are going to be your best friend. If you do not have one of these, you can always be very careful and take a nail and a hammer, and you can take the sides and then hammer a hole through, or if you have like a drill or something to that effect. This is what I'm going to be using because this thing cuts through just about everything. And I'm going to go ahead and try to find where I would want it, which would be about right there. And there we go. Perfect, perfect, perfect every time. And then I will try to find the other side of where I want it, which looks about right there. And there we go. So, I'm telling you, if you don't have one of these, you should invest in one. They are amazing. Cuts through small tin, thin tin, through wood. I mean, everything. So, as you can see, I got the holes on the sides. And now I am going to take some wire. You can use any kind of wire you want. This is not very sturdy wire. It's very bendable, but that is okay with me. It doesn't really bother me. And then I'm just gonna kind of eyeball the size I want. You want it to be a little bit bigger than you would normally want it because it's going to have to twist on the sides and you're going to need this extra bit. So I am going to do a little bendy here to make it how I want it shaped. And then I'm going to go ahead and put it through the hole and bend it. And then I'm going to take my pliers, however you want to pronounce it, and I'm going to twist it just a little bit. If you have really thick wire that's really sturdy, you may not even have to really do this part. You just have to kind of like make sure that it's twisted up. But because this wire is really flimsy, I'm going to do a little tiny bit of a twist just to make sure it's not going to go anywhere. So, and then I'm going to make sure that there's nothing poking out that's going to cause somebody to get poked as they're trying to reach in for candy. And that is one thing I would advise, to be cautious with these, because even though it's one of those soup cans that, you know, pops open or whatever, it's still very sharp in here. I think I cut myself on the other one somewhere on the side of my finger right here. So, you know, if you got little kids and stuff, I would be a little on the safe side and just kind of make sure that they're not really digging their hand in there harshly, because they may get cut. And if you don't want to put food in these, then you can always put, oh, it really is endless. Again, like I say all the time, it is absolutely endless. You could use these and not even put the bucket wire on here, and you can use it as a vase for flowers. You can you know, put a tea light in it. You can, I mean, like I said, there's so many other ways you can do this. You don't have to make it a treat tin. This is just the way I want to do it. And if anybody's wondering how I came up with this idea, it is not my idea. It is something I found on Pinterest. So I got inspired from Pinterest. Alright, so there you go. There is the little wire. Now, what I liked to do with this is, again, this is totally optional, just because this is a really flimsy, and I do mean flimsy wire. I am going to take a little bit of crazy glue, and I am going to just put a little bit on the sides, so that way it sticks better and it doesn't you know, get too flimsy and move around a whole lot, because I really don't want it to move around a whole lot. So blow on it so that it stays. Alright, so the next step, we're almost done, guys. I mean, it's that simple. It really is. The next step is to find what kind of ribbon or, you know, decorations that you want to put on as a little bow and around the pumpkin. I'm not sure what I want to do, to be honest. I think I'm going to go with this gold and orange tulle, and then I'm going to try to find I was trying to find my candy corn ribbon, but I got so much ribbon over here. Oh, here we go. There is the candy corn ribbon that I'm going to be using as well. And I think I may actually... sorry guys, my nose is starting to plug up a bit again, so I've got sniffles going on. Let me make sure this is still going. Oh my goodness, you guys, we're at 29 minutes. That's really not that bad, but still, I'm not used to doing long videos like this, and I really hope that I have enough memory on my phone to record this. Okay, come on off there. Okay, so I'm going to, let's see, do I want to put that around there? Nope, I want it up there. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and take this tool and I'm going to try to make a bow out of it. This is just how I'm doing it. If, you know, you guys have other ribbon and stuff that you want to put as a bow, or if you already have a pre-made bow. If you don't want even a bow on it, you can just leave it as is. You can make little tassels to put on the sides. Again, like I always say, it's endless. Use your imagination. That's the best part about these crafts, is using up your imagination and taking it wherever you want. That is the reason I share these videos, is because there's so many people out there that I get inspired by, and if I can inspire just one person, then I am happy. Okay, so I'm going to really try to make this bow as fast as I can. I'm not the best bow maker, so I kind of struggle just a little bit every time, but I will do my best to not take too long. And I'm off camera, I know, I'm sorry. It's just the way I have to have it really close to me. So, okay, see, I just made a little bow. And then I'm just going to cut some of that off. And then I'm going to try to make a bow out of this as well. So, and then I'm going to make sure it's trying to stay the way I want it to, as you can see here. And then I am going to glue this one on, just like that. So I'm going to do that really quick. Just like so. And with tulle, it's really hard for any kind of glue or tape or anything to kind of stick to it. So yeah, I have to kind of sit here and work with it a little bit too. And eventually it'll start working. Okay, and then now I'm going to glue the back side to the ribbon just to keep it kind of looking like an actual bow rather than just being kind of wonky. You know what I'm saying? Because again, this is really hard ribbon to work with for some reason, at least for me. It may not be for everybody, but for me it definitely is hard to work with. I'm not a professional bow maker as it is, and I really want to try and invest in actually getting a bow maker. I think they're called like little bow machines or something that help make bows. Okay, so there is my bow, finally done. And what I'm going to do now is the very last step before I am going to glue all this on. And that is, I am going to glue this little tiny, well, whatever that was about. This little tiny acorn. Okay, we're definitely getting to the end of the video, guys, because I can't talk. This candy corn little embellishment, I'm going to glue that on to the middle of my bow, like so. Just make sure it's going to stay. And it's going to look like that. And then I'm just going to glue it on to the handle of the can. And look at all the little strings from the hot glue. You can get that off here in a minute. But for the most part, guys, the only thing left to do after this dries on there is to put your candy corn inside of the can. And I'm going to take this off and get this little bit of paint off here. Sorry, I know I have this off camera. I have some sanitizer, food safe stuff that you can spray and wipe off, and it's food safe, and that way everything in there is nice and clean and clear, germ free rather. And then now the fun part. So if you will excuse me a second while I reach over here to get my candy corn. And we are going to just start putting our candy corn inside. Okay, sorry I got cut off. There was some much storage on my phone. But this is the remaining. Yeah, it's way too late for me. This is the final finished look of the cans. So as you can see, this is the candy corn one. And I could have done a little bit more of the yellow, but I kind of like the distressed look, so. And then this is the pumpkin one. And it's got those in it. So I hope you guys like this little tutorial. Like I said, it's very simple, very fun, very easy, and as you can see, I think it looks amazing. And it's fun. You can just kind of, still one of those right now. And again, I'm sorry it was a really long tutorial, but I was asked to actually do a full tutorial, so I did my best. And sorry for the stuffy snifflies. And it got cut off again. I'm going to go take my medicine now, and I'm going to go get in bed. So I will try to put a couple pictures at the very end of this in some daylight so you guys can see this a little bit better. So I will see you guys next time for day 4 of my Halloween crafts. Have a good one. Bye.